I read the screenplay, and it came normal channels. It was sent in, and 98% of what was in that screenplay on the first read is what ended up on camera. It was spectacular, one of the greatest reads I've ever had as an actor. And I knew I wanted to make it by the time I was on page 20. I had seen the image of whipped Peter as a child, but as his story started to come into focus, I was moved in all of the most beautiful ways. When you look at the brutality that he suffered, and then through the research, realizing that even with that, he was able to sustain faith, gratitude, and love in the face of those kinds of atrocities, I knew that I wanted to learn from Peter.
It came through the usual channels for me as well, but I expressed the same magnetism to the script that Will's speaking of. I read it, I couldn't stop reading it. I was on the edge of my seat as I read it. I put it down and immediately read it twice because I was just like, this is thrilling, so engaging, and just an immense tale of triumph. And I obviously really fell in love with it, but so I made sure I put extra effort into that audition because I just and there was something immediately that I felt that I knew her in a way. She sat somewhere within me, so I was very hopeful and glad it all worked out.
I read the script and I got on the phone with Antoine. I was like, why me? And I'm like, really? Now we're gonna make this movie now? I was raised well. Like, my grandparents, my father, my grandmother marched with Martin Luther King a month after Selma.
The Lord is with us. What can a mere man do to me?
I will come back to you!
You walk the earth because I let you. I'm your God now.
For me, at least, it's not always, oh, I know this guy. It's, you got to ask questions. And we began discussing, where does violence come from, racial violence? And then we got down to that nervy subject called white fear. So we started sharing articles and from James Baldwin and Frederick Douglass, and we started looking at the trauma that a baby who we assume is not born racist, they learn hate generationally. How do we get into that? How do we get into that fear that is the result or results in impossible violence? And we see in the newsfeed today.